Yochtau, Nuguam Tlaquel Canuck, Gayuslin Lachmatzino, Gayuslin Lachmatzino. You a win guisasa Kwiakah, we lamano a axela hanu a win guisa.
Yo, my name is Stephen Dick. I'm the Chief of Kwiakah First Nation. I speak to you today on our homelands, the place we call home, Philip's Arm. In our language, its name is Matseno. This has been our home for centuries. The Kwiakah people have not lived in their territory for many years, probably dating back to the early 1900s, where they had a thriving community in the Philips at one time. And they were able to use the land to their benefit and live off the land. Over probably at least the last 10 years, we've been studying the impacts of not only fishery but forestry activity on a large scale in our valley. So it prompted us to really look at ways that we could protect and enhance our systems. So the development of the Masinuk Special Forest Management Area creates an opportunity to enhance as well as manage our forests in a sustainable way.
Decades of failed forest practices here in the inlet have turned beautiful nature into a tree plantation, an area where deciduous trees were not welcomed, were no longer allowed to serve their purpose, and industry, with permission from government, in essence applied a form of monoculture, use of the land. And in the end, we have to live now with the destructive effects of these policies. While the 2016 Great Bear Rainforest Order was supposed to have the effect of increased protection of the Great Bear Rainforest, it had the opposite effect in our area. We had originally a 70% oak growth protection in place, but when the new order came into play, this was reduced to almost 50%. And the result of it was increased logging. And it was very hard for us to fight this, because while we are part of the agreement, we were not part of the negotiation of this agreement. To deal with this injustice of having lost protection for our forest, we started an initiative of combining our scientific research with the aspect of our Aboriginal rights and title. Because we had this very powerful combination of the legal aspect and the scientific research, organizations like Nature United, BC Parks Foundation, Nature Conservancy of Canada became aware of us. While we were a small nation that did not get a lot of attention, our work got a lot of attention. So working together with philanthropic organizations, with the licensees who were willing to surrender their harvest rights, working together with government, we were able to create a special forest management area, so in short SFMA. And this legislative step helped us to move forward with our concept of regenerative forestry, which is very important to find ways to help the forest heal, finding ways that a second growth stand that has been turned into a tree plantation can develop old growth characteristics much sooner than in the natural timeline.
So this regenerative forest ecosystem project that Kwiakah is initiating is pretty exciting, because it's going to pull knowledge from a lot of different places. They have an in-house team of advisors who include foresters, who include forest ecologists, who include wildlife ecologists and salmon biologists. They also have forest keepers. So these are Kwiakah forest keepers whose job will be to be on the land, eyes and ears, monitoring and working with the forest around them. And then on top of that, we've also pulled together a large research collaborative with academic institutions, where we'll have both academic advisors and students from SFU, from UVic, and also from UBC, who will all come together and create a collaborative research environment, working with the forest keepers and working with Kwiakah's advisors to develop and start to understand a number of the questions that Kwiakah are asking around how do we heal our forests, and what did they look like originally, and how do we recover them from where they are now to something that looks more like a natural forest, more quickly than it might otherwise do if it was just left to its own devices. The exciting thing about this project is that we are able to do this in a place that is, in fact, a permanent research installation, which is so rare in British Columbia. Most research happens in places where you can't count on the fact that your site is going to be there 10, 20, 30 years from now. This is going to be a very long-term research project.
Hopefully now that we have the Center of Excellence, I'll be able to come out more, and I would love to explore everywhere on our traditional territory. So what we're doing right now is going to affect future generations, and I want my daughter to be able to come out to our land and to be able to enjoy it herself.
Kwiakah is now empowered to be again the steward of these lands, and Kwiakah's stewardship efforts will bring back the beauty of this inlet to not only the Kwiakah people, but to all residents and visitors of British Columbia.
I think our grandchildren will benefit greatly from what we're trying to do here. For example, using our forests in a cultural way, whether it's large totem poles or large trees for canoes. That's something that we haven't been able to do within my generation, is to be able to access those types of resources for cultural purpose. And I see that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren will have those resources readily available to them if we do this right. And we've only just begun.